Hello and welcome to CarWale. I'm Bilal and let me start by asking, how do you improve something that's already so good? A designer would say a nip here and a tuck there. A businessman would say, let's add a bit value to the product. An engineer would recommend changing the entire mechanism. And car enthusiasts like us would want something bit of fun. And that brings us to this, the new and updated Skoda Kodiaq. Now this is not a generation change, but a first proper update for this first Skoda SUV. With this facelift, it gets a subtle exterior design changes, it ditches its diesel engine for a new petrol one, and there are some improvements on the inside as well. But have these changes improved the new Kodiaq over that one? Let's find out.
Before that, do remember to hit like, share and subscribe to the CarWale channel.
Globally revealed last year, this facelift for the Kodiaq carries some interesting changes. First up, this grille. It's newly designed and it matches the entire Skoda family now. It's festooned with chrome as well. As for these LED headlamps, it reminds me of the 3rd gen Octavia before the split. Changes to the lower bumpers are kept to the minimum. And moved to the side in profile, these 18-inch alloy wheels are new. And for the back, there are some subtle changes to the tail lamp, but you'd need a very keen eye to find the differences.
With the subtle changes, the Kodiaq now looks much more imposing yet recognizable. It's more modern as well, especially when compared to other butch-looking 7-seater SUVs in the segment. Overall, the design changes on the Kodiaq aren't drastic, but just the right amount to keep it fresh for a few more years. What do you think about the design updates of the Skoda Kodiaq? Do let us know in the comments below.
Stepping inside, this entire cabin looks quite familiar, which means changes here are kept to a very minimum. You do however get this new steering wheel, which is quite aesthetic but could do with some tactile feel to it. Behind it there's an instrument cluster which is all digital and can be configurable as well. Apart from else, this entire cabin, it's a 5-year-old cabin and I think it has aged quite well.
Despite being half a decade old, the cabin layout is clean, with uncluttered buttons, easy to reach controls and good quality of materials used all around. Some of the bits are shared with many older models, but they still don't look out of place here. The center console has an integrated 8-inch touchscreen which does appear in a need of an update. It's not exactly last generation, but could do with crisper display, better interface and more control functions.
Now the Kodiaq is a big car, so space on the inside is ample as well. You get good amount of headroom for my size and the seats here are very large and supportive and comfortable. And a new for this update is, apart from being cooled, it also gets heating functions. Now this being a Skoda, it's also high on practicality. So you get this large driver armrest storage for all your knickknacks. Also the driver gets a separate storage compartment over here. And the highlight of this cabin is this twin glove box. Unlike 7-seater ladder frame SUVs, the Kodiaq is quite easy to get in. And since the owners would be spending most of their time here in the second row, you get decent amount of headroom and legroom, and 3 people here can sit quite comfortably despite the difference in the contour here. And on longer journeys, you get a recline function for the seats, so you can be comfortable on longer hauls.
More importantly, the Skoda's Simply Clever features include these neck braces for when you want to take a nap after a long day or when journeying through the country. Lastly, the third row isn't spacious enough for an adult except for a short trip, but kids can do here just fine.
With 3 rows up, it's not exactly something to write home about. It offers 270 liters of space, which is something you get in the Volkswagen Polo. So not exactly ideal for a weekend luggage of 7 people on board. But fold these down and it expands to 630 liters. Not big enough to move a house, but would do for most of your needs.
And if you do want to move a house, fold down the middle row as well and the space goes up to 2005 liters. Now this LNK trim has quite a lot of kit on offer. It comes with a long feature list that includes a panoramic sunroof, a 10.25-inch fully digital instrument cluster, an 8-inch touchscreen infotainment system with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, along with SmartLink connectivity and inbuilt navigation. There's a 360-degree camera as well. For creature comfort, you get 3-zone climate control, a reverse camera, 12-way electrically adjustable front seats with cooling, heating and memory functions, cruise control, rain sensing wipers, wireless charger, and electric boot with foot gesture opening and closing. This LNK trim has a 625-watt Canton 12-speaker music system as well. There's also park assist for parallel and perpendicular hands-free parking. If we were to nitpick, the new Kodiaq misses out offering a conventional USB socket, and a new age ADAS feature would have made the deal even sweeter. It's also sad to see the absence of door protector, which was part of Skoda's Simply Clever features before. In terms of safety, the Kodiaq has a standard fitment of 9 airbags, ISO-fixed child anchor points, front and rear parking sensors, ABS with stability control and brake assist, along with hill hold, hill descent control and tire pressure monitor. Part of Skoda's Simply Clever features, you get some useful equipment like an umbrella in the front door, blanket and headrest in the nap package, and thick floor mats.
Now this updated Skoda Kodiaq is TSI powered. Now we all know that there will be no diesel engine for modern day Skodas. So instead of a 2-liter TDI, this Kodiaq is powered by a 2-liter TSI petrol engine. It puts out 187 bhp and 320 Nm of torque, and all this power is sent to the intelligent all-wheel drive system through a 7-speed DSG. Now Skoda claims a 0 to 100 km/h time of 7.8 seconds. Now that's fairly quick for a 7-seater SUV. So we'll definitely test out that figure in our future road test.
We have already seen this engine in the Volkswagen Tiguan and Skoda Octavia. Here in the Kodiaq, it feels refined right from the word go. Power delivery is smooth and linear, and it's quite predictable as well. There's no lag at slow speeds, and you can easily potter around town with the engine running between 1500 and 2000 RPM mark. Give it some beans and the engine comes alive after 4000 RPM. It's progressive all the way to the red line, and the motor never feels strained irrespective of the speed you are doing. Out on a highway, there's always power in reserve when there's a need for quick overtakes. So the Kodiaq can manage everyday commutes as comfortably as it can cross continents. Meanwhile, the dual clutch transmission is butter smooth, be it going up or down the cogs, and it complements the Kodiaq's personality very well. Even in the kickdown, there are barely any lurches, and the Kodiaq remains effortless through and through. There's also a provision for manual mode with pedal shifters for one of those days when you would want to have some fun behind the wheel. There are 6 driving modes in the new Kodiaq as part of the new dynamic chassis control system. Each mode alters the throttle response and gear shifts, with a dedicated off-road mode for times when the going gets tough. Similar to the previous Kodiaq, the ride quality continues to be one of the highlights here. It's stiffly sprung like any other European car, but never does it get uncomfortable. Part of DCC are dual-shelled gas-liquid shock absorbers controlled electronically, providing optimum damping characteristics. As a result, the ride remains consistent and flat over most of the surfaces. Even over broken patches and rutted surfaces, the Kodiaq's ride remains unfazed and comfortable. Skoda says the update also comes with something called the progressive steering. Depending on the driving conditions and speed, the steering input alters. This helps in reducing the turning circle at slow speeds, making the Kodiaq easy to maneuver through narrow streets. At the same time, it doesn't need constant correction at higher speeds. Going 2 turns lock to lock, it's fairly quick and progressive as well. On the flip side, the steering could do with slightly more connect and feel, because when taking corners with some enthusiasm, it's not very confidence inspiring. All in all, the Kodiaq makes for a great companion irrespective of your love for driving or opting to spend most of the time in the back seat.
This updated Skoda Kodiaq is launched in India for a starting price of Rs 34.99 lakh at showroom. At this starting price, we think this Kodiaq offers a lot of value, especially when compared to the recently launched Volkswagen Tiguan, which is a couple of lakhs cheaper but is a 5-seater and has lesser features. As for the competition, this Kodiaq goes up against the likes of the Toyota Fortuner, MG Gloster, Citroën C5 Aircross, apart from premium soft-roaders like the BMW X1 and Mercedes-Benz GLA.
The Skoda Kodiaq still is a definitive choice for those who don't want a flashy 4x4 or a premium badge just for a style statement. The new Kodiaq improves on its understated character, it's high on practicality, is well built and oozes quality, is decently decked up with features and creature comfort, and even the newer powertrain doesn't give any reason to complain. At the end of the day, you cannot go wrong buying the new 2022 Skoda Kodiaq.